Okay, so now condos, I sell a number of condos. I represent buyers and sellers on them, and they're always interesting. So issues can come up once in a while. Can you give us some hints on condo insurance? What should we be looking out for?
Well, the big one is you need to know if the homeowners association coverage is walls in or walls out. Okay. Walls out means that you're not going to get any interior walls covered. You're not going to get your kitchen rebuilt. You're not going to get your bathrooms rebuilt. So you need to have a lot more structure coverage if that's the case. And so that's what, it needs to be found out from the agent of the homeowners association, whether it's walls in or walls out. Walls in is preferential because that's going to cover everything. But even walls in, you have to see if it's going to cover all the upgrades. Some units, as you know, are much more upgraded than others.
Right. So let's take a look at, say, for example, there's a leak in the walls, and now it has caused water to seep inside the wall, not inside, but inside the unit.
Mm-hmm.
How would the coverage, number one, who would cover it? Are we talking about the HOA covering it, or are we talking about the homeowner covering it? And is it separate? So I'm sure that there are two different policies. One is HOA insurance and the other one is the homeowner insurance. Can you talk to us about that?
Right. I'm seeing more and more associations want each individual condo unit to cover claims that are only associated with their unit. Typically, those are water damage claims. And condos have a much higher rate of water damage claims than homes do. What we've dealt with in the past is developers using a very thin grade of copper because it's a lot cheaper and putting it into these condo complexes. And then 20, 30 years later, there are a lot of water damage claims. And so an HOA policy is not unlike a homeowner's policy in that the insurance company doesn't want to be hit with claim after claim after claim and nothing being done about it. And then the HOA can be looking at a much more expensive policy if it gets canceled. So the individual unit owner should have their own what's called an HO6 policy, condo policy, that's going to cover interior damage, or if they accidentally cause a fire, that's going to cover their unit.
Mm-hmm.
And then also there's liability, because if you're the cause of a water loss or a cause of a fire, and you're sitting there with $500,000 of liability, then you should be in pretty good shape. Or if you have an umbrella, even better.
Oh, that's really good to know. So that's with condos. Now something that's been fairly recent, well, just for a few years now, is Airbnbs. Mm-hmm. So separate from, or maybe in conjunction with single family homes, condos, and that type of thing, are there any issues with insurance when a homeowner is using their home as an Airbnb or vacation rental by owner or one of those types of rental properties?
Yeah, they need to get it endorsed for that. That there's a special endorsement that almost every company offers to cover an Airbnb situation. If you don't have that, then you're taking a big risk. The insurance company has it within their power to deny claims if you're not telling them about an Airbnb situation. That involves a lot more risk for the insurance company. And the insurance company obviously wants to know. They can only base their prices based on the assumed risk.
So now there are people out there who, say, for example, they have 4 bedrooms. They will rent out each room to a separate person. Mm-hmm. Is there any difference with that, or is it still that same endorsement?
Well, if it's Airbnb or something along those lines, mm-hmm. then they just need the one endorsement.
Okay.
But if you're a homeowner and you rent out a room, that's not a problem.
Okay. So one room is okay, but if it's an Airbnb where you have different people coming in and going out, is that different?
Yeah. There's an endorsement specifically for an Airbnb or VRBO, any of those.
Okay, so tell me one of the most memorable claims that you've had?
Oh, memorable. Memorable claim. I try to forget them, you know. Uh, I had this is going back probably 15 years. I had a fire claim. Apparently there was a spark that started a fire in the living room, and I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but it turned into a very big deal. I'll tell you an interesting one. For me, it was interesting. This woman had a planter box right next to her house, and the planter box apparently had developed enough combustible material that it started a fire. It got hot enough, it started a fire and burned the side of her house.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to make sure my planter boxes aren't right up against the house. So,
Wow.
yeah,
What was inside the planter box? Was it natural material or was it the actual planter box itself?
I didn't go into it that much. I was just,
Mhm.
this was a long-term client. I was just happy that she was okay. I was
Wow.
like, oh, wow, I didn't really grill her on, what was in that box? Why did it burn? What happened?
I
You know,
know.
just
I'm going to
like
go
there's a
up.
fire, and I was glad that she was okay, her family was okay. And yeah, it's interesting in our businesses, you grow attached to your good long-term loyal clients. And that's
Yes.
one of the nice things. The main reason I've been doing this for 42 years is because I like the association with my clients. And I have found, like you, that most people are really nice. And then there's that occasional very difficult person. The
Mm.
nice thing about my business is that I can tell that very difficult person that maybe I'm not the right agent for them.
Right. I mean, it's always like a match, right? So you want to match the people with with the people. And I'm sure that you could probably recommend them to another insurance agency should they need it. Okay, well, I guess that means that I'm going to have to go around my house and take a look at all the planter boxes around my house so
Scary,
I can
isn't it?
see. It is really scary. We just never know. But, and I think what you said makes a lot of sense, which is the more experience that we have, the more we can actually share that with our clients. And, it could just affect so much uh, of their livelihoods. So, well, thank you so much for joining us, Randy. It has been a pleasure. And I'm sure that there are all kinds of other insurance questions that are going to come up. So I'm going to leave your contact information at the end of this video so people can contact you.
Sounds great.
Okay, thank you so much. And for everyone else out there, thanks so much for joining us today. I hope you found this as informative and interesting as I did. And now make sure that you have enough insurance to cover yourself, whether it's auto, your home, and your business as well. And then I'm sure Randy can answer many of your questions. So thanks again for joining us. Clara Duran Reed with the Duran Reed Firm and Randy Karp with Karp Insurance Services. Have a great day.
Thank you, Clara.
Thank you, Randy.